How's it going, everybody? Cam from Flamingo, and today we're actually doing a comparison video for the 3 most popular AIO kits on the market. Today we're looking at 3 devices that are all similar and will hopefully help you find the right kit for you. The dotAIO, the Aspire Mulus, and the Well and Beyond AIO. I think the most important thing to talk about first is the design of these devices. If you've been keeping up with products over the last couple of months, I'm sure you know exactly which device came first and who copied who, and that device is the billet box. But if you know the billet box, you also know that they go for hundreds of dollars, which is why dotMod took their idea, simplified it, and made an already super compact AIO device even smaller. I actually just posted a whole review about this, and I definitely love it. But like the billet box, not everyone wants to shell out the funds to pay for this pretty kit, so even more brands came in with alternatives. The dotAIO has a classic beautiful dotMod design, everything is perfectly machined and has some great details like the LED ring used for power adjustment, battery life, coil notifications, and of course the on and off. The design of the Mulus is very similar, however a bit of a bigger package compared to the other 2 devices. It has a nice tactical firing switch with a brass ring instead of LED, USB-C on the side kind of like the dotMod, but it has a resin face and a dual airflow door. Except this is a dual airflow cutout instead of the dual channel like the dotMod. One weird design is the mouthpiece being on the other side of the firing switch, which just kind of confused my brain a bit when I went to hit it for the first time because I'm just so used to using the dotAIO. If you've used neither, then it's definitely not going to be a big deal. Now, looking at the Beyond, okay, come on guys, at least try to be a little bit subtle. Other than this in-your-face screen on the front, the drip tip is very similar. The firing switch is in the same place, USB-C is at the bottom, and okay, I just hate that they rounded this thing to hell and back because there's almost no contact when you place this device down and it falls over 9 out of 10 times if you aren't looking at it carefully. Yes, this thing is very comfortable to hold, but as soon as it leaves your hand it falls over almost every single time without fail. But now let's look what they're hiding behind their doors, or just door. Now, like I said in my review, the dotAIO has one door for the battery sled and wattage adjustment button on the front of the device, and access to the pod with the super smooth airflow channels on the back. Aspire decided to take the billet box route with their Mulus, because the battery sled, pod, and display where you can actually change the wattage between 1 and 80 watts is all in one area. Also, these magnets on the door are strong as hell. I can't tell you how many times I made this door go flying while trying to take it off. But thinking about this again, you might actually prefer it to the dotAIO if you have bigger hands. I myself have hands of an infant, so I almost always go for the more compact out of the devices. Now, Beyond understood people want a super compact device, and I think by moving their fancy color display and controls to the front, it allowed them to get this thing into such a tiny package. But speaking on that screen, you actually have a full color display and wattage controls up to 35 watts, which I actually really like because these coils are only limited to 35 watts. And to dive a little bit deeper, let's take a look at all the different pods of these 3 devices. So when it comes to the ease of taking the pod out for changing your coils, or filling it if you want to be weird, Aspire absolutely nailed this design. All you need to do is press down the drip tip and pop it out. Holy moly, does that feel nice. The plug on the Mulus is the easiest of the 3 to grab, and a strange note is how the plastic seems kind of foggy like it's been used, and that's kind of been on every single one I've opened up. It's definitely not a big deal whatsoever, and that's just kind of me being anal, because it looks really normal when you fill it up. The dotAIO, on the other hand, is slightly more annoying when you don't have fingernails to pop it out, but they at least give you an extra cutout so you can get your finger in there pretty darn easily. The pod on the dotAIO has super tight tolerances, a beautifully smooth airflow control ring, everything is just super high quality and it just looks and feels great. Now comes the Beyond AIO. This thing is just a poor ripoff of the dotAIO. Garbage quality and the feel of the airflow control ring, it just falls off when you start using it and it feels disgusting. The tab on the pod to take it out is really poorly cut out and you can still see where the extra little bit of plastic from the machining is. But the filling plug? Honestly, this filling plug is pretty good, but look at the top of this thing. How is this thing so far off? Now look, I get it for the mouthpiece, but if they didn't round this stupid thing off so much, it would be in a normal spot and not look so disgustingly off center. It's like they didn't even try. Seriously, what is this? I just hate this. But how are the coils? Well, unsurprisingly, Beyond ripped this off poorly again from dotMod. Same wattage ranges, same design, and yet they couldn't even figure out how to make them cross-compatible? Seriously, if you're gonna copy this thing this far, why not just make the coils cross-compatible? You at least would have some sort of saving grace. Now the dotMod coils are great. Again, I talked about them a lot in the review, which you can watch by clicking on that card. They have great life on them, dry hit protection works great, flavor is great, they're just nice. I love the 0.3 mesh coil to death, and the 1.6 ohm they include works great with mouth to lung vaping or salt neck vaping if that tickles your fancy. A big thing to note, if you love the Nautilus coils, they actually also include an adapter to use them. You can either use the mouth to lung coils or of course their new 0.7 ohm mesh coil for direct to lung vaping. I had to bring up that note about the Nautilus coils because that's primarily what the Mulus uses, along with these weird Tygon coils that I've never tried before. They actually included 4 different coils with this kit, which actually includes this 0.7 ohm mesh coil. I've never actually seen a company include this many coils in a starter kit, so you actually have a lot to try out to find out what you like the most. I'm definitely going to focus on the 0.7 ohm Nautilus mesh coil since it's good for both this and the dotAIO. I'll be honest, these Tygon coils just don't really appeal to me because these mesh coils are just so damn good. Of course, they also give you that 1.8 Nautilus coil, which has just been a staple for years. It works nice. There's nothing to really say about it. It's just a good coil. But how do they vape? I'm going to start things off with the Beyond AIO. It copied the dotAIO so much that it's just been egging me to try as it sat on my desk. The janky looking coil didn't leak, the screen is beautiful, the mouthpiece felt nice, and as soon as I brought it in my mouth to take the first puff,
I always hated it!
They may think they're bold and brash, but if you ask me, this thing belongs in the trash. I don't know how to describe this thing. It's like you're not even vaping, but you are. It feels disgusting. If I picked this thing up for my first vape, I'd honestly probably just go back to smoking. It's just that gross. And obviously the flavor is just terrible as well. Like, how is this thing so bad? I don't even know how this is possible. I don't know how this is even possible, so I just took my juice out because I felt that scammed. I can't even finish a tank. Now with that in the garbage, I'll quickly talk about the dotAIO. Again, there's a full review that we just posted. Now I love how this thing vapes. The airflow makes me feel rich, which is kind of a staple for them. You get a nice, warm, comfortable vape. It feels super comfortable to hold. The mouthpiece is amazing, and I just love this thing. These 0.30 mesh coils is actually what convinced me to buy the device in the first place because they just work that well. Now while they're not my cup of tea, the 1.6 ohm coils do work well and they're very nice for mouth to lung and nic salts. But if you ask me, this thing truly shines with regular nicotine. Last but definitely not least is the Mulus. And honestly, this was a shocker. I really didn't expect much from this thing as it was kind of clear they were just making a more affordable version of the dotAIO, but holy crap, these 0.7 ohm coils took me for a trip. You get very crisp flavor, the airflow is pretty much as smooth as the dotAIO, and it's just overall a really good experience. They wick well and everything. And then of course I had to try the Tygon coils, and they're coils. They didn't really blow my mind or anything, they work fine, it's just that 0.7 mesh coil is definitely going to be my favorite out of all of them. So to give my final thoughts, I obviously love the dotAIO. It has great build quality, lots of customization, and a very small form factor. The Aspire Mulus is still built really well, but it feels a bit cheaper compared to the dotMod, but it still offers fantastic performance. I'll take the more compact of the two, but if you like a bigger device, then the Mulus is for you. I can easily say you'll be happy with either of these two devices, and while I might not be switching over to the Mulus, I can definitely say that I'll be buying a pack of those 0.7 mesh coils. I want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and of course let me know which kit you're going to go with in the comments down below. My name's Cam from Flamingo, and I'll see you in the next video.